Okay, hey everyone, let's get started and welcome to this Monday's Town Hall. This is our 42nd Town Hall. We will have just a quick update today, nothing too long, so let's just jump right in. First, I believe we have Nabil hopping in for this update.
Yeah, I just wanted to finalize the plans for a fortnight's time. So we have our get together in Istanbul. Basically, the primary days will be Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday we'll focus on in the morning we'll have presentations on kind of our forward-looking vision 2020 and beyond, and we'll also have another presentation related to our kind of financial situation, and then time for Q&A. So that's what the morning will look like, and in the afternoon we'll have the on-conference style, which we discussed a couple of weeks ago. Basically, anyone can propose a topic. So if you have something in mind you really want to kind of share or get feedback on, you can write it down. People can join the session, and there'll be 2 blocks of time. So there'll be 2 sessions, and then hopefully that can then bleed into Wednesday if people want to continue working on or hacking on something specific. On Wednesday, we'll have group time and time together, and then in the afternoon, we'll have presentations by, if you want, presentations to the entire group. Both evenings will have activities on Tuesday and Wednesday night, and those details will come and be shared out closer to Istanbul. So for everyone that's coming, we're looking forward to seeing you all there.
Yep, and just to follow up on what Nabil said, for the teams who requested rooms, I'll send that information out, and I'll definitely put out more information with fun things that we have planned this week. So everyone keep an eye out for Discuss for some additional logistical information. Next, we have Carrie.
Yep.
Awesome.
So just as a quick slide about the engagement survey for Q3, I posted the responses today on Discuss. You can find the link in the slides. And what we're going to do is have a hangout to look at the results and kind of just digest them and process them together and come through some ideas. So tentatively, this is scheduled for Thursday this week, but we were looking at the time, and I feel like 1 p.m. European time might be a bit too early for some of you in like the Americas. So that could change. That's tentative, but we'll add it to the calendar. So what we'll bring to that is some kind of ideas and summaries of what we heard in the engagement survey. And the idea is that we kind of chat about them together. And yeah, like we say, the plan is to try and get the highest priority fixes done as soon as possible, but then also take that kind of consultation onto Istanbul where we can kind of like talk about team fixes together. Thank you.
Thanks, Carrie. Are you taking this slide as well?
I think JB was going to talk about this one. I don't know if he's here.
Yeah, I can take that.
Oh, awesome.
Hey everyone, hope you're all good. So I wanted to give you a quick heads up that in the next couple of days, you'll receive an email from Pollen Node inviting you to a status survey. We're going to try and do a network analysis of the organization before we get to Istanbul. This should basically, it's a bunch of questions. It should help us understand kind of the true organizational structure and collaboration modes that exist between us, and also try and help identify some of the kind of network glue that holds us together. So some of the relationships and people that are key to status. So please do look out for a survey in the next couple of days. If you can complete it this week, that would be great. And it should give us a lot of interesting information to review in Istanbul. Thanks.
Great, thanks, JB. All right, jumping back to Nabil with the Janitor update with V1 progress.
Yep, just a quick update here. Basically, between now and the end of the security audit, we're now tackling the next project, which is our release. Primarily, this is focused on fixing a bunch of bugs that have built up over the past few months, as well as some security fixes. The timelines for exactly when that's going to happen is unclear, but the goal is to have these done around the same time as the security audit will be done. If anyone wants to follow along on RIKE, it's status V1-release project. If you go next slide. Yeah, so our security audit's scheduled to start on the 30th of September. It'll take 3 weeks. Once the update has been completed, as well as any of the fix from the security audit, we'll then have a more detailed release schedule to be finalized. So that's kind of what the next 6 or so weeks look like. when the team gets together in 2 weeks' time in Istanbul, we'll probably have some more plans that will be, what post V1 will be. And that's it from the janitors.
Thanks, Nabil. All right, let's jump into swarm updates. We have, I believe, just one swarm update this week, and it will be done by Rachel on the core team.
Yep. So on the topic of releases, we have unfortunately had to call off the beta release 14 due to this ongoing issue we've had with the 64-bit version for Android. And there's some details in a Discuss post that I created if you're curious about why that's happening. And there is actually a longer form blog post to follow. But for now, for any community members or users who are listening, I just want to start planting the seeds. And when V1 rolls around in a couple of months' time, most likely, we really just want you to be aware that it's important you have your seed phrase if you want to be able to recover your existing wallet account in V1. We're introducing some breaking changes, and when you upgrade to V1 or download and install V1 for the first time, you won't be able to recover your previous account and status unless you have your seed phrase. And if you have an ENS name, that impacts that as well. So in lieu of a full beta release, we're going to release a hotfix version just for iOS. We can't roll out another Android version until V1. And that hotfix will simply include some in-app notifications to people who miss our marketing communications but do see the app, preparing them again for that breaking change that I've mentioned. So, of course, more details to come on all of our social and marketing channels about that. Meanwhile, V1, Nabil just gave a pretty good overview of the rough timeline for the release itself. For the code freeze, we do have 6 status go issues open, 4 status react issues open. The 64-bit version testing is still in progress. Pedro is making some fixes, and there are additionally 2 issues that are in a private security repo and are being owned by Andre and Andrea. But we're in pretty good shape. It's about 4 weeks to go, and we do have some time out in Istanbul, but none of these issues look, knock on wood, like they could throw us a curveball. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but I feel okay about it. And yeah, that's it from me this week.
Great, thanks, Rachel. And now let's jump to Gui with a keycard update.
Yeah, so yeah, this is a quick update on the main thing that the keycard team has been working on and the status. So first, well, the main thing that has kept us busy in the past month is obviously the integration of keycard within a status application. Well, we are now feature complete for the code freeze. So there's been a lot of work, months and months of work to get there. So I wanted to really give huge kudos to the whole keycard team and those outside of the keycard team that helped. That's great. And special kudos also to Dimitri and Nastya, who in the past weeks are finalizing that, especially. So now we are fixing and fine-tuning the experience with keycard in side cases. And then once this will be done, we have some features that have been left over along the way, like the Remember Me feature, which is saving the password of the user to log in within his multi-account. Then we want to integrate keycard with iOS, and we want to finish the integration of the Ledger Nano X within status. So that's one thing. We are also in a research phase with regards to using keycard in payment networks, whether it's a status payment network or another payment network. What's ongoing are 2 things. We want to validate the value of keycard within these payment networks by really isolating the value we're creating by doing this. And we are also listing the technical solutions to minimize the fraud in such a trustless system. And there are 2 Discuss posts, one for each of these questions that are ongoing on Discuss. These are pretty interesting discussions, and if you've not checked them out, please do so. That's really, I mean, all feedbacks are really great in now because we are in a research phase. then we'll write specifications and then we'll implement that. Yeah, if you can go to next slide, please. Two other things, just wanted to quickly mention there's a virtual Gitcoin hackathon ongoing. Thanks to Johnny for the initiative to have us participate here. I mean, we are really happy with, we made 2 key card issues there, and there are really interesting discussion ongoing, developers coming with really cool propositions like a keycard simulator, a Python SDK, and some other that's really stimulating, and that's really interesting. And then in terms of outreach, there's a business development effort ongoing, and Ben is leading the charge here. We had some discussion with Alpha Wallet, for instance, with Infineon, which is a card manufacturer, but we are trying to persuade them to use keycard API. And we're having also conversation with LibDAO. And last thing, there is a keycard workshop that will happen in DEFCON 5. So in Osaka. And that's it for keycard.
Thanks, Guy-Louis. Okay, that ends all of our updates. So now let's go into Q&A. We have one question that was submitted from the status channel, and it was a phone provider update. In the status town hall 35, someone asked whether status were in talks with any phone providers. It was decided this couldn't be discussed at the time. Can the team give an update on this question and say who they're in talks with and the progress made, if any of those talks? I believe Jared was the last person to take this question in the last town hall, and he's not on the call today.
Yeah, so at the moment there's no discussions with any food provider specifically. At the time there was some interest, but at the moment there isn't anything in the pipeline. But there'll be a more detailed update on things like this at the offsite in 2 weeks' time.
Great. Okay, thanks, Nabil. Okay, does anybody else have any additional questions they want to ask while we are all on the call? All right, since there are no questions, then I will see everyone in 2 weeks in person in Istanbul. So I hope everyone has a good rest of their week. And if you have any questions about Istanbul, please reach out to me as soon as possible. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Rajani.
Thank you.